person wants to be the nominee of the Republican Party, there can be no evasion and no games. They must reject any group or cause that is built on bigotry. This party does not prey on people's prejudices. We appeal to their highest ideals. This is the party of Lincoln. We believe all people are created equal in the eyes of God and our government. This is fundamental. And if someone wants to be our nominee, they must understand this. I hope this is the last time I need to speak out on this race.
All right, that was the House Leadership Paul Ryan, the House Speaker Paul Ryan, speaking out about Donald Trump's comments on CNN when it came to David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan. I want to bring in my next guest now to talk more about this. Ron Paul, welcome, Congressman. I'm glad you're here with me.
Thank you.
Your thoughts about this hullabaloo over David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan?
It's pretty amazing, and our campaign has a lot of involvement. It's interesting that the media is able to create the issue, the Ku Klux Klan. You know, I don't even know if there's 100 people in the country that even know about it. Of course it has to be condemned, but why are people able to bring this up? No politician would want it to be brought up, so it has to be, you know, a plant by the media to instigate it and try to make accusations. So to me, it is just part of the process, which I...
You don't blame Donald Trump, you blame the media for bringing this up?
Of course he should do it because he... Yeah, let's blame him, and then let's blame the media for, you know, tracking him. But the whole thing is why did it come up? Sure, we can blame Donald Trump. I blame him for everything else, so blame him. But it's the whole, how did this become the issue today? The first question you ask on Super Tuesday is the Ku Klux Klan. That's unbelievable to me. This has been condemned, and they have been marginalized. Nobody cares about them. They're evil. They're monsters. And yet now it's going to be the issue of the day. That to me should be the issue. Is how in the world do these things occur? Why aren't we talking about the military-industrial complex, the Federal Reserve, the deficits, the intrusion of our privacy, and all the intrusions of our liberties which are never touched, the protectionism that's going on and presented, the socialism versus national populism. Those are the issues.
I think that many voters would have... I understand, and the reason I asked you was because Paul Ryan just spoke out about it, and David Duke threw his support behind Donald Trump. That's why I asked you about it, just to be clear, but I hear you. Congressman. Okay. So let me ask you about issues, because this election, especially on the Republican side, seems to be all about emotion and anger. Your son tried to talk about issues, but it didn't work for him.
Well, maybe Trump got more attention from the media than Liberty got. You know, if people understood the true revolution going on is away from obtrusive, invasive, militaristic government, and that there are answers on the libertarian side, but the people don't understand it quite as well. But the media doesn't understand it. They don't understand free market economics. They understand what's the Fed going to do next week, raise or lower interest rate. They don't understand this, so it's not interesting. But I find it fascinating, and I find that the college kids that I talk to, they find it fascinating too when they hear the truth about economics, the truth about non-interventionist foreign policy, and the truth about our Fourth Amendment and why government shouldn't be invading our privacy wholesale. They understand this, but that's not what this thing about. Matter of fact, my biggest beef is that from a libertarian viewpoint, there's absolutely no difference of some meaningful difference between Hillary and Trump. I mean, they both support military-industrial complex, the Federal Reserve, deficits, entitlements, invasion of our privacy, and it's super nationalistic populism versus socialism, and that is so remote from what we need to be doing. We need to be moving ourselves away from tyranny toward liberty.
Mm-hmm. So are you endorsing anyone? Are you endorsing any of the Republican candidates? I know that you're not endorsing Trump. I could hear that in your words today.
No, I'm not going to be endorsing any of the ones that are running, you know, that are left on
Why
the stage.
not?
No, because their positions, just like I stated, from the libertarian viewpoint of limiting government, there's nothing there offered to reduce the size and scope and intrusion of government. Who offers any cuts in spending? Who offers protections of our liberty? Who offers, I mean, some of the top candidates want to carpet bomb the world, this sort of thing. So no, a libertarian can't endorse this authoritarian approach. Authoritarianism is the opposite of libertarianism, and that is that there are people who want to be the boss in economic or social or military terms, and they want to run things. We want to run our own lives. We're not looking for an authoritarian to be the boss. We want our freedoms, our liberties, and we want to be responsible for ourselves. We want to understand the free market.
Some of what you say, it really does resonate with a lot of voters who want smaller government, and your son preached that all the time. So when you stand back, I don't know, do you wish you were more involved in your son's campaign, and would you offer him advice now as to why it didn't work out for him?
No, I'd offer advice to the media to be more aware of what he was talking about. When I ran, I had the largest crowds, but not once were we covered. We had 8,000, 10,000, which is mediocre compared to today. But then it was the biggest crowd. But there was never a bit of coverage. Ron Paul had a big rally. Matter of fact, when I came in second, they didn't even mention my name. So it's the way things are reported. So yes, that's where the biggest trouble is. Now, I'm sure he would admit that he didn't run a perfect campaign or he'd be still in the race, but it has a lot to do with the people's acceptance of it. Because in one way, I think it's a shame that the people aren't more with us and the media doesn't understand this. At the same time, I'm very excited and I have a very positive attitude. I'm optimistic about the young people, the nucleus of people who care about ideas, because we believe as libertarians that ideas is the only thing that have consequences. So even though we have Hillary and we have Trump, the ideology that they follow is interventionism in our personal lives, in the military thing.
So I just want to ask you this. I just want to ask you this last question because I'm running out of time. So would you ever think of supporting Bernie Sanders?
No, because he's an authoritarian. He wants to, because he's just a variant of Trump. Trump wants to be the boss, and but even the things that I work with on Bernie on some of the foreign policy. I mean, he's part of the military-industrial complex. You look at his vote; he was a big voter for the militarism. He had one vote that he can brag about, but he was very much involved. Now he's an authoritarian of a different color, but Trump is a super authoritarian because he wants to be the boss. I don't want a boss, and libertarians don't want a boss. Most Americans don't want a boss. They'd like to be left alone.
I have to leave it there. Congressman Ron Paul, thanks for stopping by. Donald Trump says he won't just